Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. Folks, we were right all along. Silver stackers always get the last laugh, and guess what? Silver's going off the rails. You want to know why? You probably guessed it if you're someone who frequents my channel. Silver price hits a 9-year high due to higher industrial demand. Silver reserves and production have not kept up with the increased demand from green energy. Remind you, this article was posted today, April 10th. It's fresh off the press. What we have been talking about for years. It's not the micro, it's the macro. Another article. Silver price hits a 9-year high and inflation is only partly to blame, right? Inflation's only partly to blame. The things that people were saying would push silver up, it's looking like it's more of the fundamentals. And if you're someone that watches my channel, I've been talking about this for years. It's the fundamentals what gives silver so much potential beyond other assets like gold. So let's jump into this article. Make sure you like this video if you do like the video. Also make sure you subscribe because I post daily videos every single day giving you the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date recent information in the world of precious metals, more specifically silver. You'll never miss a beat. And I got a lot of giveaways ahead. So as always, may the luckiest stackers win, and let's jump into this. The global economy's focus on transition to clean energy is creating an additional demand for silver, which is used in solar panels and EVs that will only grow in the future. According to the Silver Institute research, which by the way, numbers don't lie. That's why I've been able to predict this for so long. Nobody else was doing the research. Nobody else was doing their homework. And if they were, they weren't getting the answers correctly. They weren't looking outside of the box like I and others have been, like David Morgan, Andy Scheckman, Mike Maloney, Ted Butler. There's other ones, Keith Neumeyer. Several people have been talking about this, but most people, they're so stuck to the day-to-day inflation. That type of thing, and it's much bigger than that. And when you look at the fundamentals of supply and demand, which always has the greatest effect on a market or where that market is headed, then it's a no-brainer that this is why silver has so much potential. This is why my name is Silver Slayer. 2023 will be the year of the biggest in decades deficit in the physical silver market. This was the biggest supply deficit in decades, and it's only going to get worse. The easing of monetary policy by world central banks and the inflation slowdown support the fundamental growth of silver prices. Gold and silver often go hand in hand when discussing precious metals. Both metals have been objects of desire for thousands of years, and each has been found on every continent of the world. Just like gold, silver is used in jewelry. However, its demand in industry, where it is used 6 times more often than gold, creates a strong interest among investors. Nevertheless, there is relatively little information available on silver, which makes potential investors more vulnerable to losses. And that's actually what I made in my last video. I was talking about how most people that invest into silver lose money. It's the truth. And that's because they don't know what they're getting into before they get into it. But anyways, these OctaFX experts expect that silver reserves will continue to decline in 2023, leading to a potential increase in its value. Remember, low supply, high demand pushes the price up. That's investing 101 for anything. Silver prices could reach a 9-year high of $30, highlighting its strong potential for well-informed investors. Decarbonization and electrification will lead to a major increase in demand. Much of the silver's value is determined by its industrial demand and supply fundamentals. It is estimated that approximately 60% of silver is used for industrial purposes such as electronics, manufacturing, solar cell production, automotive industry, soldering, while only 40% is available for investment in the form of jewelry, silver coins, and bars. Industrial demand is growing due to the electrification of automobiles, 5G deployment, government or the government's commitment to using renewable energy resources such as solar panels, which silver's heavily used in solar panels. It's PV cells, photovoltaic, which is in solar panels. Then you have to think of 5G towers. Then you have to think of silver lithium-ion batteries. You have to think of so many different uses for this thing that is depleting off the face of the earth. The demand for renewable energy is a key driver of growth. Think of this: zero net emissions by the year 2040 or 2050, whatever. If we're going to hit that goal, then we are going to have to flood the earth with solar panels and EVs, which in reality, we don't have enough silver to do that. We truly do not. And that's the scariest part. I mean, it's great for us that have it, but the aftermath of not being able to change this for global warming or climate change, if you believe in that or not, that could be detrimental, because that means that we, in reality, we don't have enough silver, or we don't have the tools to go green, to push this zero net emissions by the year 2040 goal. What does that mean for global warming and climate change? So anyways, according to the IEA renewables report, electricity from wind and solar photovoltaics, PV cells, which I was just talking about, will more than double in the next 5 years, providing almost 20% of global power generation in 2027. And I missed this part up here, right? Think of this, though. More than double in the next 5 years, but we already have the biggest supply deficit this year. So we are already having a very hard time keeping up with the demand, as we are having a decreasing supply and increasing demand, and the increasing demand is going tenfold. What's going to happen? Solar panel production was up 15% this year alone. Every automobile company by the year 2030 is going to be an EV. We haven't even started yet. We're just now getting started, and we're already just scraping the bottom of the barrel. And when I talk about triple-digit silver, I talk about by the year 2025, 2026. I think by then we'll be deep enough into this chaos. I think by then industry, it will be blatantly obvious to industries that we are in an extremely critical position if we are trying to go green and keep this goal, that we just don't have enough. And I think by then silver's true price will shine its true value. People will really understand how precious this metal is. And I think that's when the price will. Right now, they could still kind of sweep it under the rug, in my opinion. The demand for renewable energy is a key driver of growth. Silver is an essential component of solar power generation panels, with approximately 100 million ounces consumed annually. This is expected to lead a significant increase in the amount of silver consumed in the coming years. According to projections from the BMO Capital Markets, the annual consumption of silver in the solar industry could grow 85% to 185 million ounces within a decade. Silver's excellent electrical conductivity makes it indispensable, irreplaceable, in the automotive industry, especially in electric vehicles, which contain twice as much silver as petrol cars. Furthermore, charging stations for EVs will require a substantial amount of silver as well. And here's another problem. Byproduct silver production is expected to be the key trend of the decade. You know what byproduct means? It's found by accident. They're looking for gold, lead, or zinc. If they find some silver in those mines, they'll take it, but they're not looking for it. Most of the silver supply is generated as a byproduct of base metals mining, with zinc, lead, and copper mining accounting for 59% of silver production. Specialized silver mines are costly, as they are very large projects, and their number is therefore declining. The supply of silver as a byproduct and non-precious metals production is expected to rise in the coming years. So now we have world mine reserves, and it shows the mine production right here. Mexico, China, Peru are still the leading. Mexico and Peru alone accumulate over 40% of the global silver supply. So it's mainly Mexico and Peru that holds the production. You also have like China, Australia, what are some other ones? It's like Mexico, Peru, China, Australia. There's a couple more, like Chile, I think. But Mexico and Peru, those are the two biggest by far. And that's what hurt the silver the silver shortage so much when the pandemic started, because Mexico and Peru got hit hard by the pandemic and they were shut down. And since those are the two countries that that produce the most silver, that was a very tough spot. And you got to remember that there was borders and boundaries cut off all over the world, and then workers, when they did come back, there's limited workers and all these safety precautions. So that's why production got hit so hard. Market momentum kept silver prices low in 2022 and then drove them up in 2023. Looking at the silver price dynamics over the last 5 years, it becomes clear that a new bullish trend in the market began around the mid-2020. Since then, the silver price has lost some of its growth dropping to $22. The main constraint was the strong dollar, which in return reacted to the tightening of the Fed's monetary policy. The correlation is quite strong. Together with the end of the inflationary shock and the change of the dovish tone, silver price found support at $18 and has been consistently bullish since August 2022. Inflation expectations are positively correlated with precious metals and are a leading indicator, especially when combined with the Euro USD effect, and in the current environment of declining inflation and lower interest rates coupled with additional stimulus amid the banking crisis, investors believe in the beginning of the new business cycle. This will reduce the strength of the dollar and provide a significant support to silver, possibly boosting the price to $30 in 2023. So you have it right there, boosting the price to $30 in 2023. I mean, when we look at silver hitting $50 in 2011, similar circumstances could be at play. Remember, 2008, you had the credit financial crisis, you had recession/depression, you had the billion-dollar stimulus. Now we have trillion-dollar stimulus. Now there is a financial crisis, recession/depression. We also have a war going on. There's a lot more at stake now. So if that led silver to $50 from 2008 to 2011, imagine what it could lead silver to today. We're living in crazy times, so expect crazy things to happen. So, talking about inflation is only partly to blame, and I like how they said that, because a lot of people think inflation is what blame. It's the financial side of things why you need to get into silver, which, yes, that's part of it. A lot of people only think that's why. They don't even know about the other reason, which is what I represent. It's what is the silver shortage. A lot of people don't even think the silver shortage is real. They think we need to get into silver because it's a hedge against inflation. They don't even know how serious the shortage is. Now they are, though. Articles like this never came out a couple years ago, but now every single day you see more. Silver reserves and production have not kept up with increased demand for green energy. In just 20 years, reserves could be completely depleted. Skyrocketing silver prices. The global economy's focus on transition to clean energy is creating an additional demand for silver. Right. Let's look at something. Okay, so it's looking like it's the same. This is the same website. So I wanted to see if they said anything different as they were talking about more of the inflation side of things. But it's looking like, no, they got people in from mentioning inflation's only partly due or partly to blame, and then they said the other thing that's mainly to blame is the production, the diminishing supply. So yeah, I don't think anything else is different, but yeah. So, anyways, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Do you think that this is all something that is going to hold? Do you think? Let's actually look at silver's price right now. $24.93. That's holding a lot of stability at these higher prices. I don't know why it's loading. But yeah, it's holding its ground right now. A lot of people were thinking if it did touch this, it would just it would be overbought territory. It would correct right back down because people would sell off. Um, I don't know why the price is not showing. Oh, here we go. Okay, so it's looking like. See, let's go to like the 3-month chart, actually. That's a good one. Yeah, you could see it was headed towards 20. We're talking about maybe 19, 18, 17, but it held its ground, and now we're going upwards. A lot of chart analysis are saying that this is like a very, very bullish sign when you're looking at, the triangles and all that. I'm not a professional chart reader or analyst. I usually focus more on the the economy, geopolitical things that it could affect it, the supply and demand stuff. But it is nice to incorporate the charts when you can get a very good idea when you're looking at the charts and mix that in with what's happening in the economy, the real world. Get a pretty good idea. But anyways, yeah, I thought this was a good article. I'm glad that they mentioned this, and I'm glad that people are finally starting to talk about the other side of silver's potential, the real reason why my name is Silver Slayer and not Gold Slayer. We didn't just pick silver out of a hat. There's reasons why we invest in a silver and not gold. Well, gold I do recommend as well, but why silver has so much more opportunity and potential than gold. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you like this video, then please like the video. Make sure you subscribe. I post daily videos. If you wanted to buy some of this shiny stuff, I recommend Miles Franklin. Andy Schechtman is the CEO. You've probably seen him on my channel or seen him on Kidco News, or you've seen him on Robert Kiyosaki's channel. You've seen him somewhere because he's definitely the most popular person in the market right now, or in the precious metal space right now. I have a weekly show with him. If you want to check those out, it's called the Silver Stacking Podcast. We try to get an episode in every single week, but send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. It will help you out. It helps me out as well. Most trusted company. They're one of the only few authorized dealers that still works with the U.S. Mint, so they have access to silver that nobody else does, since nobody, not even us, can buy from the U.S. Mint directly anymore. They banned everyone. They cut everyone off except for a few dealers, and Miles Franklin is one of those dealers that still has access, which is pretty cool. Plus, Andy's a good guy, and he'll always make it right. So if anything ever happened to your order or something, just hit me up, and I could put you in direct contact with Andy, which is very beneficial compared to another website. It's kind of like buying silver from a friend of yours instead of buying from some random place online. And the coolest part is that friend actually has the best connects in the world. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.